I'd be like, cool, they're running the Fiendsmith engine, but I wouldn't call it an engine in this deck. It did fuck all. This is a Math Mech deck with like 5 Fiendsmith cards thrown in just for the hell of it. And there's access code, just because. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm gonna die here. What was the point of Fiendsmith if you're just gonna Math Mech FTK? Why do you put yourself through all of... What's the fucking point? It's a waste of fucking space and materials. All you did was glue a gun to another gun. They literally... It's like gluing a fucking pistol to the side of a shotgun. You're not going to do any extra damage. They're already going to die. But you just glued it on there anyways, and you don't even fucking fire it. What's the point? Hey, Toon. Like, I'm not even mad that I lost. I'm mad that they just ran the most dumb fucking combination of cards that do not work together. No, you cannot steal my cat. I don't get it. I don't get it. But Crossout Designator needs to fucking go. So frustrating. I think the worst part about playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Recently isn't even necessarily the whole there are a ton of broken archetypes. It's the fact that people will go, okay, how can I make my deck so toxic? I got it. I don't want just one broken archetype. I want 2 broken archetypes that will never interact with each other. But if one doesn't work, I always have a handgun in the back to just pop a bullet in the back of my opponent's head. So it's like, I went up against fucking Fiendsmith Math Mech. What's the fucking point of running those together? Other than to just go, yeah, you know, Fiendsmith didn't work, so now I'm going to Math Mech and just FTK anyways. It's like, cool, great. What's the point of the deck if you're not even going to play the fucking deck? It wasn't good enough to have one fucking broken archetype? It's so fucking frustrating. Yeah, here's a 3-card archetype that can do the thing of a 30-card archetype with 2 of those 3 cards. The last one's just there to make sure that those 2 don't get negated ever, or stopped or destroyed or anything. That was the part that pissed me off the most, was Fiendsmith Math Mech. Hell, Ubel Horus is the same fucking horse shit. I know we have 1 broken archetype, but you know what? Let's run a second one, just to make sure that if our 1 broken archetype gets stopped in any way possible, we just do whatever the fuck we want anyways and win. Your hand was nothing but 1-card starters? Always has been. Pop! It's so frustrating. The way to explain it is that Konami essentially Epsteins every deck that goes up against these other decks. Because it's like, you know, they blame it on you, but you got 2 bullets to the back of the head, so... How's that your fault that your opponent had just, you know, you stuck in a cell and a gun to shoot you twice in the back of the head with? But now it's a suicide, because obviously your deck wasn't good enough. Yeah. You're just out there to get 2-tapped in a duel. It's like, cool. You did it. You drew the out. Anyways, that out is useless now. That's also the part that pisses me off, is people were like, oh, just draw the out. The out to what? The one deck or the completely other random fucking deck that they're just running on the side to do whatever the fuck it wants and kill you anyways? It's hard to know what out to draw when everybody is just running multiple fucking decks at the same time in a single game. I stopped a Fiendsmith player from killing me, and then they just math-mech'd me to death anyways. And the two sides never interacted. They literally just did whatever the fuck they wanted on their own. So they were just going Fiendsmith, and as soon as I stopped Fiendsmith, math-mech combo starts. Cool. What was the fucking point of Fiendsmiths then? No. The asshole thing to do is to tell someone they need to draw the out to have broken shit. Well, why didn't you draw the out? Well, you see, my opponent had answers to the out that they could just combo into instantly because the out doesn't work when it's two separate decks with 5 different outs that are required. Like, as much as Sky Strikers are so frustrating to play against, at least they're not a deck that can fit any other archetype in to just do whatever the fuck it wants willy-nilly. And I want to be clear, I'm talking a very big difference between, like, we're doing an engine, which the whole point is to use the engine to get the other part of the deck running, versus these are two entirely separate decks that are just mashed together so they can do whatever the fuck they want if the other side gets stopped. Like Fabled. Fabled is an engine. I don't mind Fabled being put in Fiendsmith because it's just an engine that makes sense. It's an easy discard into link into summon. Like, Sky Strikers are definitely annoying to play against. But at the very least, when I see a Sky Striker deck, I can rely on the fact that they are running a Sky Striker deck with maybe an engine added in to make them run better. I'm not playing up against 5 different decks that are all 2-card archetypes shoved together to do whatever the fuck they want 500 times with no interaction with each other ever. Nice. Oh yeah, I know Sky Strikers can be annoying to pilot. I've piloted Sky Strikers. They can be so fucking annoying to pilot. Did that just make a horse sound? That's fucking cool. Here, what's the fucking point of the Fiendsmith deck? It has nothing to do with the fucking Chimera deck that they're playing. It's just there to be an asshole. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's frustrating. They're not running Fiendsmith to make their Chimera deck work better. They're running Fiendsmith to win the game with Fiendsmith, or their Chimera deck can just run while the Fiendsmith just fucks their opponent over. It's not about making the Chimera deck better. It's just about winning the duel and then claiming you play the decks that you like. But let's face it, you're not playing the decks that you like. You're playing Fiendsmith with the deck that you like stapled over it. It did make a horse sound. Yeah, I don't mind Chimera and Illusion. The issue is they're not running Chimera and Illusion. They're running Chimera, but it's actually a Fiendsmith deck. That's what I'm talking about. Like, I had a Paleo Frog deck. You know what the point of the Paleo Frog deck was? It was to be a goddamn Paleo Frog deck. Fiendsmith isn't a band-aid. It's not even an engine. Fiendsmith is just the deck. And then whatever you play outside of that is what you claim the deck is. That's the issue with Fiendsmith. Fiendsmith pretends to be every other deck, but it's just 2 to 3 cards that you all run together so that you can claim you're playing whatever other deck and then still kick the shit out of your opponent. Yeah, look at me. I made it so far using fucking Gradles. It's like, no, you played a Fiendsmith deck, and then you had Gradles in it. I made it up to the top tier of Master Duel using fucking, I don't know, whatever the fuck you want to claim. Like, you could literally be like, look, I made it to the top tier using Ojamas. It's like, no, you played a fucking Fiendsmith deck, and then you had Ojamas in it. Gradles are interesting without it. You don't need Fiendsmith to make Gradles interesting. I mean, yeah, it is coming up time to end stream anyways. I gotta make dinner and I'm a little tired. But no, it's just so frustrating. It's like, cool. What's every deck? Oh, it's Fiendsmith with a mask put over it. That's it. That's Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays. It's just Fiendsmith with mask. What's the mask? I don't know. What deck do you want to pretend that you're playing when you're not? Exactly. Your Gradle Kaiju deck is interesting. Why? Because it's great. It's basically Kaijus with a Gradle engine. The Kaijus are just the removal for the Gradle engine to keep running and doing what it wants. Fiendsmith doesn't even care about what the rest of the deck wants. It actively does not want the rest of the deck to run. It just wants to run and kill your opponent while you can claim that you're playing the other deck in the background.